License Committee to order at 6 o'clock. And we have less to do tonight than the last few times. And to begin with, I would, from the docket of December 20th, excuse my voice, 2022, I would entertain a motion to approve the Class II license renewal application from M&J Auto Sales, Inc., 650 Washington Street, 10 customer parking spaces and 49 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you very much. I visited M&J Friday, and I actually came back Monday. And they're in good order. And are there any questions or concerns?
No.
Okay. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I am an aye. Vote passes 3-0. All right. And from the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the automatic amusement license renewal application from Spooky Games, LLC, 9 North Main Street for one coin pusher machine. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And actually, this is their second time through. They were, I think, the first license that we passed under my chairmanship. And everything's in good order. They're open, I think, 4 or 5 days a week. Things are fine. Are there any questions?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. From the docket of, passes 3-0. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the automatic amusement license renewal application from CEC Entertainment, Inc., DBA Chuck E. Cheese, 287 Washington Street, 12 video games and 52 skill kiddie game machines.
Second.
Thank you. And everything was in order there. They've got a lot of games, but the numbers are correct, and they're in the right spots. Any questions?
Nope.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It passes 3-0. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the automatic amusement license renewal application from South Attleboro Post 312, Inc., 437 Newport Avenue, for one pool table, one jukebox machine.
Second.
Thank you. And this is something we do every year, I believe, and everything is in good order. I went in, inspected, everything's fine. Any questions?
No.
No. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. And from the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the Class II license renewal application from Daniel Martinez, DBA R&D Auto Sales, 116 Dickens Street, for 5 customer parking spaces and 8 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. And it's actually very neatly laid out. The numbers are correct. I talked to Mr. Martinez, and everything seemed to be in excellent order. Are there any questions?
No.
Thank you. Councilor DeSimone, are there any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye. Passes 3-0. And this is the last motion from the docket of November 15th, 2022. I entertain a motion to approve the Class II license renewal application from 100% Auto Wholesale LP, 21 Washington Street, for 10 customer parking spaces and 28 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. The spaces are correct. The number of cars are correct. I would, unless there are any objections, I would like to share my vote first and ask each of you to have that opportunity. If there's anything you want to say, if not, you can just vote. I am going to vote yes in committee. I believe this is something that I would like to pass on to so that the entire city council can vote next week on this license. Councilor DeSimone, is there anything you would like to say?
I will vote it out of committee so that everybody can vote on it next week.
Thank you.
Agree.
And Councilor Dolan agrees. Okay, is there any further discussion at this point?
No.
None. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Vote passes 3-0. And that concludes the business of the License Committee this evening. I will call for the next committee meeting at the next appropriate time. I'll call for adjournment.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye. Adjournment's 3-0. We are adjourned at 6:06.
I'd like to call Public Works to order at 6:06. I have a few items tonight. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the expending funds and any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of a sustainable materials recovery program municipal grant from the Massachusetts DEP in the amount of $48,000 to be used to enhance the city's waste reduction programs.
Second.
Thank you. So just a good-sized grant to help us keep things running. Does anybody have any questions? Peter, did you hear me about the grant?
No, that's fine. I read it.
Oh, you read it, so do you have any questions, or are we, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $56,888.70 from account 100-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 1630100-584029 recreation outdoor facility improvements to purchase and install benches and picnic tables at Ponce and Hewitt recreational facility. I entertain a motion to approve the expending of the funds from the Recreation Revolving Fund 2614-584029 should prices increase and we are short funds to complete the project at Ponce and Hewitt, installing and purchasing benches and picnic tables.
Second.
So basically, what Dennis is saying is if it goes over, then they'll be taking any remaining funds from the revolving fund. Does anybody have any? Oh, so they're all over 20 years old. They're the original benches and picnic tables to the park. Does anybody have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $500,000 from account 1000-35900 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to fund 3564 Bishop Street sidewalk construction. This funding request includes a contingency for price escalation.
Second.
Thank you. So this is basically the same thing as Reed Street, because we're going to be doing the water main next year, so while the road's open, it's the best time to do sidewalks. So that's what this is for. Peter?
Just a quick question,
Councilor
Laura.
Blair, excuse me.
That's fine. They're not going to do the sidewalks till they actually tear the street up.
Correct. From my understanding, yes.
How come it's out so early?
Probably because we just certified free cash. Hold on a second. Number 16. Oh, it's not number 16, excuse me. 19. I can find out from Mike, because they're doing the new water main next year.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I'm saying. You're going to spend that money now?
Let me find
year
out. Do you
away?
want me to hold it, or you want to wait? We can vote it out, and I'll get the answer.
I don't think it's in that much of a hurry. They're certainly not going to do anything this winter.
All right, so I'll hold it. Do you want to withdraw your second?
Withdraw, second's withdrawn.
All right, so we'll hold that one. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $81,067 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 163-01000-587031 recreation F-350 truck to purchase a new diesel Ford 350 utility pickup to assist with snow removal operations. If this particular vehicle is not available in a reasonable time frame before June 15, 2023, the Recreation Department will seek to find a similarly qualified replacement.
Second.
Laura, what was the date on that? Did he want to purchase one? Now?
Yeah, I would assume now.
Snow removal.
So number 25. He has the estimate that's from the end of October. So I would assume now. That's what it looks like.
Is he replacing the truck?
This is, yes, he's replacing a 2010 that needs numerous repairs, can't find parts, and it's in really poor condition. That's what he's replacing.
Not to sound objective at all, but I think some of these things, this happens to be one, and it's nothing personal, but we're spending a lot of money. I think these department heads ought to come before us and at least explain why. You get a 2010 vehicle, and it could be a piece of junk, don't get me wrong, but it's 12 years old.
It has 113,295 miles on it.
I just personally, a lot of stuff, Laura, not only in your committee, but other committees is coming down the line with these high costs of some of this stuff. I don't feel comfortable myself voting on this stuff unless I hear it from the horse's mouth, why they need it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I could have had them come tonight.
Well, it's rushing things around the holidays where I don't think it's completely necessary.
Councilor Holmes?
Thank you. I completely agree. There was 50 communications that came down and tons of money that's being spent in the city. We're about to be going into having a different administration altogether. I don't know what the priorities are with that administration, and it feels very rushed to me, a lot of these expenses. So for that reason, I have a lot of concerns.
So I can bring the DPW superintendent down to discuss these.
I'm going to withdraw my second.
Hold on a second. Excuse me, just 1 second. I just want to make sure I have. All right, so this is for Dennis. So do we, and so as far as Council Holmes' comment, like I understand the point, but also we just certified free cash. That's why typically, you know, they're using.
It isn't going to hurt, Laura, excuse me.
No. I'm not disagreeing with you, and I'll ask them to come down. I'm not.
This isn't the only one that pops up to my attention. You're in a rush to spend money, and we don't know exactly what the future's going to be. And as Diana says, we have a new administration, whoever it is coming in. So let's not empty the piggy bank ahead of time.
Well, we won't have a new administration for a little while, so I'll have Dennis and Mike come down.
30 days.
Is that what we want to do? Councilor Angelo?
I'm fine with that.
So you're going to withdraw your
I
second, please?
withdraw my second.
Thank you. I entertain a motion to appropriate from the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $22,550 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 163-01000-585040 recreation equipment for funds to purchase a Land Pride 72-inch 15 series overseeder. If this particular equipment is not available in a reasonable time frame before June 15, 2023, we will seek to find a similarly qualified replacement. Do I have a second or no?
You got Dennis coming in, why don't you let him explain all the equipment?
Okay, so how about we just hold it all? So I'm gonna hold this. And so the next one's a skid steer loader. Do we want to hold that too?
Yes, please.
We're gonna hold everything?
I think it's advantageous to have these department heads come in and explain it. We
Okay,
might
so-
think something's really an emergency and other stuff isn't.
All right, then we have, well, I mean, when they're not being presented to us as an emergency.
I know it.
So then we have, the next one is for the dump truck. We'll hold that. And then we have the painting machines for DPW. Do we want to hold that as well?
I don't think they'll be using that till this spring.
Councilor Dolan, if I may.
You may.
Yeah, my only concern would be, the longer this takes, the chance also remains that prices go up. Yeah, perhaps not substantially, but I mean, as we're seeing, these vehicles are not getting any cheaper. So, food for thought. I think the business has to go on, in my opinion, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Diana's.
Council Holmes?
Thank you. So in the past, Councilor Conti, there was like a list of vehicles that were supposed to be replaced, and there was supposed to be like a system that we were supposed to be utilizing here. And I just feel like, again, we certified free cash, and now it's just like, open the checkbook, but we do need to have some understanding of how this money is being spent and why these ways instead of other ways. I mean, we just saw it with the health department, that they had purchased that big box truck, and then 2 years later say, well, we don't need a box truck, we need a special license for that, we're not going to be using this. And I understand the thought process was to potentially be able to roll around the city and provide vaccinations to people, but that's what happens when we start purchasing something and then we decide, no, we don't want to purchase that, we actually wanted to purchase this. So we need a plan in place. And this is a lot of money that's being spent, and I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for clarification on that.
I agree, and I don't think there's anything wrong with asking clarification. That's why they send the backup documents, and then I contact them to get the info of why we need these vehicles. The box truck is a completely different story.
It was grant, if I may, Councilor Dolan, I
was
think the
grant money
box
that-
truck was grant funds, and I think we netted a gain on that. If I
Right,
remember
because they
Superintendent
gave it to
Corsi.
the Parks Department. But anyway, I mean, I could have absolutely had them all here tonight, so this is we have 2 weeks now before the next committee meeting, and then an additional third week to vote it out of full council. But if my committee's not going to vote anything out, then I will hold it until they come down. So the next one's cement mixers for DPW. I assume we want to hold that as well. Is that safe to assume from my committee?
It's coming in for one, it can go over it all, and we'll all feel better.
Okay. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $1 million from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to fund 3575 roadway repairs for urgently needed roadway repairs. This is, do I have a second?
Second?
So this is for road repairs, which, number 39. So what I wanted to add to this is I think, we do have a new administration coming in. We should be adding money like other communities add money to the budget for road repairs, because our Chapter 90 funds clearly don't cover what we need. And I don't know Rick's exact quote, but he always says, we need $10 million to be as bad as we are now with the roads. So, just an example, like Starkey to Lindsay needs a ton of work, and just that small section alone is $500,000 to resurface and grind. Does any of my committee members have any questions before I go outside the committee?
Nope.
Also,
So if I may, thank you. I live near Bishop Street, which recently, and Councilor Angela knows this, we benefited from the resurfacing. roads matter. I'm sure Councilor Angelo can speak to the number of complaints he received about it, so, stuff has to go on. Road improvements are important to people, particularly the ones that are in really, really bad shape.
No,
so.
and we are woefully behind, because as we hear every year, being on the council, that Chapter 90 never can never keep up with what we need.
So as someone who benefited from a recent project near my house, I hope that this gets moved on. This is business, this is city business.
I'd like to call for, does anybody? I'm sorry.
So basically, like any paving, I think DPW Michael Tyler would say that they don't do any, I mean, Bishop Street is a different animal, but they don't do any paving until school is out, right? So this would be for when school's out, and then they would start the paving again.
He didn't say that this would be when school is out.
You don't know what type of road repairs he's talking about? Potholes?
It says urgently. But
Potholes, milled, and overlays.
Also, maybe that's something that might be done
In the winter?
during the winter time.
No,
Usually it's temperature specific, you can't pave when.
no.
Do we want to hold this as well, or do we want to vote it out of committee?
I think we should hold it until we have Mike down here.
I'm okay voting it out, but I understand the other councilors' questions. I get it.
Councilor Blair?
In for one, he's in for all. And he'll have a nice
Do you want to
night
withdraw
at
your
the
second,
podium.
Councilor Angelo?
Okay, I withdraw my second.
Now, this is another vehicle, and these vehicles are ready to be delivered. I entertain from the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $17,525.60 from account 1000-359000, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to account 1420100-587069, public works dump trucks, to finalize the purchasing of 2 new CV 515s, which were ordered last December.
Second.
This is just to supplement the cost?
Correct. Correct. And these vehicles are ready to be delivered now. So this is to supplement the ones that were ordered last year. Do we want to vote this out?
Yes, we do.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And that's all I have tonight. I'd like to call for an adjournment at 6:23. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.
And we're gonna skip finance until back to the end. So
Okay, I'd like to call the Transportation and Traffic Committee to order at 6:23. Present with me this evening are Councilors Dolan and Councilor DeSimone. The first item this evening, I entertain a motion to cancel the public hearing that was called for 1/17/23 regarding the appropriation of money for Claflin speed humps.
Second.
Thank you. So this was not needed. The council previously approved the installation of speed humps for Claflin, and we did receive a public hearing and a substantial amount of input for that. This is just the funding piece to get them installed. So we've been waiting several months for the funding request to come through, and I think it just recently came back from bid. From the communication sent down by DPW, we're looking at about $12,000 per speed hump installed price based on the bids. So this funding in the next motion will cover the installation of our first set of speed humps in the city. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $37,980 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to account 142-01000-589043, public works, speed hump installation for the installation of permanent speed humps on Claflin Street.
Second.
Thank you. So as previously mentioned, these were approved by the council back late spring, and now that we have the bids in and we have the communication as to what that cost is, this will cover 3 speed humps on that road, is my understanding, and the spacing of them and the exact location I'm not entirely clear on, but what DPW has assured us over time with these speed humps is that they will work closely with the neighbors in that area who will be impacted not only for the physical installation and that effort, but will be impacted long-term in terms of that placement and how it might affect their homes or noise levels or anything like that. They're going to work very closely with them to make sure that the positioning of these makes sense. Yes.
Councilor Bennett, I think I got lost somewhere. You mentioned $12,000. Is that for the purchase of one set of speed humps?
These are not sets. These
Okay,
are
one.
hard installs. So this is the, I don't know the technical, but for the asphalt, for the actual installation, these are permanent.
Okay, okay. All right,
Yes, these are
I'm
not the
confusing.
temporary speed bumps.
Therein lies my confusion. Okay, so they're actually going to construct these on site.
That's right.
Got it.
These are more like speed tables, if you imagine. They're kind of elevated. They come up gradually, so we shouldn't have the noise problems that we had previously with the temporary speed bumps, where it's a very steep jump.
Nah, I remember now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. That concludes the Business for Transportation and Traffic Committee for this evening. I look forward to motion to adjourn.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Do you happen to know have any updates on the Carpenter Street?
Not yet, but
Nothing yet?
next committee meeting I should have something for
Okay,
you.
thanks.
I move to adjourn at 6:26 p.m.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
All right, I'll call the IT and Infrastructure Committee to order at 6:27. We have one item tonight from the docket of December 20th, 2022. I entertain a motion to appropriate $8,000 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 1133100-530101 budget and administration professional services for the support service funding of a new firewall appliance.
You have a committee member here?
I did.
Diana, you want me to get her?
Yeah, if you could.
She's right there. She's not back there.
Counselor Holmes? Sorry.
Just say second on your way down.
She has to, you have to read it again, Todd.
Yep. All right. IT and Infrastructure Committee from the docket of December 20th, 2022. I entertain a motion to appropriate $8,000 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 1133100-530101 budget and administration professional services for the support service funding of a new firewall appliance.
Second.
Motion's in order, and I apologize for not looking around before starting that. This is the service side of funding for the firewall appliance that we purchased earlier. This was an expected expenditure that we had talked about, and we knew it was coming down. This is one that I do think it's important that we move forward with now. It's important for the cybersecurity. It's an anticipated funding request that we knew was coming down as part of, remember purchasing the firewall appliance, I think it was 3 or 4 months ago. But so this is expected, and I encourage us to move forward with this now. And I think cybersecurity is important. So any other questions on that? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I move to adjourn at 6:29.
Second.
Motion's in order, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned at 6:29. Thank you.
Zoning and Land Use Committees canceled this evening.
I'd like to call to order C Property and Claims Committee at 6:29. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to transfer $3,000 from account 112410000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Citywide Supply Boards and Commissions for funds for the Attleboro Historical Commission to purchase supplies for identifying, evaluating, preserving, and protecting places and assets of historic importance in Attleboro.
Second.
Thank you. I think everybody understands what's going on here. We just recently gave them an account number, so now we can actually, through the city, give them funds to start doing some of the work that they've gotten woefully behind on because they have no way of doing that, no money, no finances. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That motion passes. All those in favor? Right? Did I say it? Okay.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to accept the generous donation of a decommissioned 2011 Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor and a 2014 Ford E350 Econoline van for use by the Criminal Justice Program at Attleboro High School from the Bristol County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Thank you. Again, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I have no further comments regarding it, but does anybody have any concerns or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. And those are all the motions that I have this evening. So I would like to call for an adjournment.
Second.
Okay, and we will adjourn at 6:31 PM. Thank you.
Call Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee to order at 6:31. Okay. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, entertain a motion to appropriate $35,000 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 117-51000-530178 planning and land use zoning consultant to hire professional planning architectural design consulting firm to assist the planning board, zoning boards of appeals, the Department of Planning and Development evaluation and update, off-street parking and loading regulations, and site plan review of zoning ordinance.
Second.
That is supposed to be in mine.
I said second.
Yeah.
I don't think that's yours.
No, that's not mine. That's my mistake. I shouldn't have,
This is
I should have picked up on that. That would
Probably
probably
goes
be in
to-
zoning and land use. That's my mistake. I should have caught that. I don't know. I didn't catch that.
Surprised it's there.
All right, wait a second.
Withdraw, second.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. There's another one.
Yeah, I already got, I took care of that one, yeah. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, entertain a motion to accept the donation of $100 in grocery gift cards from Frank McKenzie to the Veterans Office.
second.
I see that's a nice thing to do. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is accepted. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, entertain a motion to accept the donation of $200 in grocery gift cards from an anonymous donor to the Veterans Office.
Second.
Thank you, Peter. Obviously, this is a wonderful thing. We love it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion's in order.
That's the higher. So that is yours.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, the higher professional.
So you can read that.
I can read that. Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to reread this one. From the docket of December 20, 2022, entertain a motion to appropriate $35,000 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 117-51000-530178 planning and land use zoning consultant to hire a professional planning architectural design consulting firm to assist the planning board, zoning board of appeals, and the Department of Planning and Development evaluate and update off-street parking and loading regulations and site plan review of the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
Second? No?
I'll give you a second,
Okay.
but does it belong in our committee?
Well, it's for hiring someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
My comment on that prior to any second.
Go ahead.
It's the same as I said to Laura. Not saying this stuff doesn't need to be done, but we've got a couple of those in planning, in zoning, that I would think it would be advantageous, and I know he wouldn't mind, to come in and explain it, why it's necessary for this help.
Okay. You want to withdraw your second?
Well, I haven't withdrawn it yet. I agree entirely with Councilor Blair. This needs to be explained to us and to the entire council as well and to the public.
Yeah.
So if you could, down the road, find the correct person to come in, that would be very helpful.
Yeah.
Or if you can share it with us. But I'll withdraw my second now if you're ready.
All right.
Okay?
All right, thank
Was
you.
there no backup documentation provided with this request? Was not sufficient?
Not my opinion.
I'll agree with you. Find out.
I like to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
So, just to be clear, so we're gonna now start a practice where, in addition to the backup documentation, you want to hear what's on the documentation from the person who submitted the letter of their request.
You're not asking for $3.
I just want to be clear on what we're doing.
Excuse me, which motion are we talking about?
All right, we're going to take a quick recess for personnel veterans.
Thank you.
All right, we're recessed at 6:36. I'll be right back.
You have to ask for a vote for that, don't you?
Land use. So can we're back in session at 6:37. Did you have a second? Can I withdraw your second?
I had a second, but I withdrew my second.
Okay, all right, so we're going to disregard that one. Okay, moving on. My apologies, everybody. Okay. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to accept a donation of $100 Stop and Shop gift cards from an anonymous donor to the Veterans Office.
Second.
Thank you. Again, this is wonderful. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, entertain a motion to accept the donation of $600 in Stop and Shop gift cards from the Attleboro VFW Post 115 to the Veterans Office.
Second.
All right, again, I mean, Attleboro VFW, places, they're incredible. They do a lot of wonderful things for the community. Any questions?
Nope.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, entertain a motion to strike the suggested appointment of Shauna Gary, 265 North Street, Somerset, to fill an unexpired term of Director of Council on Aging, term to expire February 2023, and administration requested the motion to be struck.
Second.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions? We all know, I know you know what's going on, what happened there. I'm sure you're close to the COA more than most.
Yeah, she's not returning.
No, she was here for a day or two and went back. So, any other questions, comments, concerns?
No.
All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, from the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to accept the donation of limited edition print Brave rifles in World War II Task Force. Polk patrols the SAR with a value of $1,000 from Heather Marquette to the Veterans Office.
Second.
Peter, thank you, sir. Any questions, comments, concerns? Are hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, from the docket of December 20th, 2022, entertain the donation of $985 in gift cards from Alpha Delta Kappa Epsilon chapter to the Veterans Office.
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any questions?
No?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Very nice.
All right. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, entertain a motion to transfer $500 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1124100-513-000 Citywide Overtime. The overtime account will cover any needed overtime for City Hall or Shane Building. Second, Peter. Thank you, sir. Obviously, this is contractual. This needs to be done. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. We are adjourned at 6:40.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are adjourned.
All right, and I'd like to call ordinances, elections, and legislative matters committee to order at 6:40. With me this evening are Councilors Bennett and Councilor Holmes. Do you want to read in the election-related matters, Councilor Holmes, or are they generic enough that I can or should? What do you want? It doesn't matter to me. So there's a request in here for funds relating to an election.
Councilor Bennett.
Councilor Bennett.
Funds?
Yes,
Is
funds.
it in the amendment? Oh, I see it. Okay, got it. I can read it in?
Well, yeah, I don't, do you think I need to recuse myself for this discussion?
Yeah,
Funding?
probably.
Okay. I'll try to
play
keep
it safe,
along.
yeah,
That's
sure.
fine.
Play it
Fair enough.
Okay. First motion this evening, I entertain from the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $24,425 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to the following accounts for the purpose of one or more special municipal elections in fiscal year 2023. First line 1162100-527010 rental of buildings in the amount of $800. 1162100-530910 printing and reproduction in the amount of $5,000. 1162100-534210 postage in the amount of $5,265. 1162100-530101 professional services in the amount of $3,500. 1162100-531020 police at polls in the amount of $8,000. 1162100-534110 advertising in the amount of $1,000. 1161000-542020 supplies, elections, equipment in the amount of $860.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And I'll go
I'm gonna
ahead.
get her back. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving right along, I only have two items from this evening, both relatively straightforward. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to cancel the public hearing that was scheduled for January 3rd, 2023.
Second.
Thank you, and I should actually have state that it pertains to the request for funds from free cash for the municipal building survey. We don't need a public hearing for that request, so we're gonna move on that after this one. Questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, related there too, from the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $185,000 from account 100035900 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 1192100-538050 public buildings and properties facilities assessment study for funds to conduct a municipal building survey.
Second.
Second, thank you, Councilor Bennett. Now, after some of the discussion earlier this evening, I'm hesitant to bring this out, but I'm moving it forward anyway, because Councilor Reynolds and I worked on this ordinance to get some more maintenance on our city buildings. This is important. These are issues we've been struggling with for years. Councilor Reynolds, feel free to chime in. I don't wish to defer this for the next administration. The businesses will be there no matter who's in the office. We need to get things in order to get a better idea of what the building situation is so that we can address the facilities, repair them, and perhaps save some money down the road, not have to build new. Councilor Reynolds.
So I'll just go along with that. This is something that we've been working on for over a year. And finally have arrived at getting the money. So it's not something that just came up yesterday or, we were unaware of or it was in any other line item waiting for somebody to say, okay. So, we have gone over and over this, looking for a way to be sure that the buildings here in the city are properly maintained. So I think we might even be going into our second year doing this. So I would like to see this go through.
Thank you, Councilor Bennett.
I can say that from my time on the Municipal Building Commission and the School Building Committee, this came up over and over again about how we can only, to such extent, put a Band-Aid on something and expect that the city's going to save money in the long run. We're putting Band-Aids on some big, big problems right now, and the city will start to hemorrhage if we don't fix these issues. So I think that I completely support this. I think it's well overdue, and I'll be a definite vote in favor.
Thank you, Kelly.
Councilor Kotis.
I also support moving forward on this. I think having this information will only help the next administration prioritize what to focus on. So I think it's actually timely to be doing this now. So
Agreed. Thank you. Anybody else? Councilor Holmes.
Okay, so it does look like, 35 city-owned buildings are going to be assessed to see what's needed for like windows and HVAC systems. Okay. Yeah. And then there's a time frame around when we would be getting that report.
Yeah, because in the ordinance that Councilor Reynolds and I wrote, and part of knowing what's going on is having the Municipal Building Commission come in with a report. So the budget director said, well, we need to know where we are so that they can report accordingly. And that's like our starting point. This is going to be our baseline, this first report. And I think the budget director also said that, this price is what it is, but future expenses should not be that high for further studies. Good. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good. Motion passes. And I believe that's all I have for this evening. So I would move to adjourn at 6:47, please.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned.
I'd like to call public safety to order at 6:47. From the docket of December 20th, 22, I entertain a motion to approve expending as such funds and any future grant amendments regarding the anticipated receipt of the FY23 Emergency Medical Dispatch Grant from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security in the amount of $18,500.
Second.
There's no matching grant with this. And this grant is for training the dispatchers on the fire department and the police department on how to answer or how to work these medical 911 calls. Any questions or comments? No, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $108,137.80 from account 1000-359-000, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to account 12200-587034, Fire SUV, to purchase two 2023 hybrid Ford utility interceptor vehicles with required accessories. If these particular vehicles are not available in a reasonable time frame, approximately June 15th, 2023. We will seek to find similarly qualified replacements.
Second.
Might I share with you a fairly in-depth conversation I had with the fire chief on these vehicles? We haven't bought any vehicles in 5 years over there. And it was set up that we were supposed to replace, or the program was one a year, and they get handed down. The 2 vehicles that they're replacing will go to the inspection department at the fire department. They've got quite a few miles on them, but they will serve the inspection department. These will be the chief's car and the deputy chief's car. And those 2 vehicles will be passed down. That was the original plan, but it wasn't supposed to go 5 years. So he says it's necessary. These vehicles, first responder type vehicles, where the inspection vehicles are.
Well, the chief came in to explain it. He should too.
Excuse me?
The chief came in to explain, Chief Hegney came in to explain why he needed those vehicles. I think this chief should come in too.
Not a problem.
Okay, so I'd like to hold it.
I will get him to come in. I did have a long conversation with him, so.
I think we should wait. We're waiting on other things. We should wait on this.
Would you like me to rescind my second?
Okay.
All right, I rescind my second.
I will get the chief to come in as soon as possible.
Thank you.
From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $240,000 from account 1000-35900, general fund, undesignated fund balance, general government, to fund the roof on the police station. Have a second?
Second.
Okay. I had a fairly long conversation with the chief about this, and he says if you don't approve and we don't get it done, we got to buy more buckets. It's leaking that bad over there. So, Richard, question. That was on the capital improvement list, wasn't it, the roof for the
I'm
police?
sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, that's all right, Richard. I'll bring it right up to
Organize
speed.
my work. What are we talking about?
The roof on the police station, was that on the,
Yes.
and it was listed as urgent, right?
I don't recall it as urgent.
Yeah, well, he said it's urgent because they're going to have to get more waste baskets or buckets, so.
That sounds urgent to me.
Is this a total roof replacement or just repairs?
No, this is a replace.
Price to replace, okay.
Council Blair.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I don't mean to be difficult, but inasmuch as you're requiring every other department head to come down and explain their purchases, I don't know why, should we have the chief come in and explain this?
This is evident. I mean, it's leaking like a sieve
I'm
over
just
there.
wondering for the sake of consistency in light of what
I
was
don't
said
care
earlier.
about consistency myself. I would like to get a vote on this,
your permit.
because when we can, this has got to go out for bids. It's got to be inspected as soon as possible. This is an emergency repair. Yes, Diane.
I agree. I mean, we've done this thing for furnaces. When things break down to that level, it is almost an emergency preamble here.
Yeah,
So to me, it feels like this does have some urgency to it, whereas some of the other things, such as having a road paved, they have to wait for the temperatures to even be right to pave a road. So that, to me, we can wait until we get clarification on it. But this, if there's a leak and they need buckets under it, we need to attend to it.
If something isn't done, it's going to cause, it's probably already caused damage from letting it linger the way it has. So this is an emergency type situation. Yes, Kelly?
Thank you. I'd also like to highlight that if this goes unrepaired through the winter, we could end up with a much bigger expense on our hands. We're talking equipment that may be damaged, safety issues. To me, this isn't the same thing as some of the other nice-to-haves that maybe we we have some wiggle room, or like you mentioned, Councilor Holmes, like the roads that, are we paving today, or are we looking at maybe paving in the spring, and is there some time to really understand the full scope of the project? This, to me, seems much more urgent, and I'm in favor of it.
This should have been done a long time ago, that type of necessary repair. So I would like it to come out of committee. Any other comments?
I think you kind of need to, yeah. I completely agree with Councilor Bennett, yeah. I mean, in a certain respect, I understand the other councilors, but...
Well, don't get mad at me because I brought the other stuff out and punished the police department
Yeah.
over there with the roof.
I agree with you on this one. It's, if my roof was leaking in the house, I'd want to fix it immediately. So I get it.
It's been leaking for years. I
Yeah.
know you're new, but that the roof's been leaking for years over there. And if it hasn't already caused some real structural damage, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah.
All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to plug, I think if it was a school, if it was a senior center, I mean, we'd all want that. So I don't see the difference in this situation.
Okay,
I agree with you. This is an emergency.
thank you. My fellow, yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking, and I think we're right, we said no to a lot of things, mostly being vehicles. A lot of vehicles came up to be financed, and those are things that can wait until we hear from somebody. But this is, and some of these things are going to be taken care of in the building survey that we've asked for. So I think that it has been a long time. We know because it came, I think it's been leaking for like 20 years on and off. So I do think it's about time we do something with it.
If I may, Councilor Blair, I object. I'm certainly not object to a roof that's leaking for the police department. My comments were simply to make a point for the matter of consistency and transparency and integrity on what we're doing here.
I don't think it's consistent, in my own opinion. Can I have a vote for my committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much. I have no other business this evening. Thank you very much for your attention.
So the Finance Committee has 14 motions. If we get into those, we can start the council meeting late, or we can take a little 5-minute recess, do the council meeting, and then get into finance afterwards. What would you like to do, sir?
I'd prefer to take a 5-minute break and then
Is that your desire as well?
Whatever works.
Let's take a 5-minute recess, and the Finance Committee will meet after the full regular council meeting tonight.
which starts at
There's a lot of business, which starts at 7 o'clock, yes.
What about the tax? Are you going to cancel the tax?
The tax committee is canceled.
Councilor Angelo, are you canceling your special committee?
That special committee is canceled as well.
Meeting of the Municipal Council to order at 7 o'clock. Please join me for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice of the special meeting, please?
Yes, Mr. President. Date, December 6, 2022. To the members of the Municipal Council from Vice President Todd Kobus, Councilor Holmes, and Councilor Dolan. Councilors, by authority of Article 2, Section 2-7C of the Attleboro Home Rule Charter, we hereby call a special meeting of the Municipal Council as follows. Date is Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Time is 7 p.m. in the council chambers at 77 Park Street. Purpose is to discuss any legal matters before the council, specifically the special election date and the marijuana amendments to Section 17. Sincerely, Todd Kobus, Vice President, Diana Holmes, Councilor, Laura Dolan, Councilor, C.C. DePaul, Mayor Paul Heroux, and the Municipal Council.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So as alluded to in the special meeting, we have two pieces of business. First, we'll recognize Councilor DeSimone.
My apologies. All right. From the docket of... Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Right. My apologies.
Councilor Bennett will be giving up her seat and recusing herself. Thank you. No, it shouldn't say that on. You're fine to begin, Councilor.
All right, thank you. For the docket of August 16, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the amendments to Ordinance Section 17 pertaining to marijuana zoning.
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Kobus. Motion is in order. Any comments, Councilor DeSimone?
Yes, if I may. So this was voted out of committee, as you see before you in the motion. However, we did receive late yesterday afternoon some language from the city solicitor specifically pertaining to the proposed amendment to Section 17-1015G2, which I believe everybody should have received in their email and have a written version of. And what I would propose is, I know there's going to be other discussion perhaps, but that before we discuss, I'd like to move to amend the proposed amendment by substituting in its entirety the language given us by the solicitor, which is cleaner and I think a little bit better, respectfully, Councilor Kobus.
Second.
Thank you. Councilor DeSimone, do you mind just giving an overview of what?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so as I said, I want to move to amend the proposed amendment to Section 17-1015G2 and replace it with the following, which I'm going to read for the record for those folks who may be listening or watching at home. Section 17-1015G2. The new motion will read, the special permit granting authority may not grant a special permit for a marijuana retailer if 5 or more retail establishments are actively in operation within the city. This provision shall not prohibit an active or permitted marijuana retailer from applying to the special permit granting authority for a special permit in a new location within the city, provided that if 5 or more marijuana retailers are in operation at the time such application is filed, any special permit for a new location shall include a condition that the original special permit shall be null and void, such that no additional location shall be created.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you again. So as I mentioned before in the discussion that pertained thereto, this would allow current marijuana retailers to have an opportunity to transition into one of the new zoning districts if this amendment is passed. If all these amendments are passed.
Councilor Conti.
Can I ask for just a moment to find where this is in writing in my giant pile of paper? You're talking 1710.
15G2.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you.
Mr. Conti, while you're looking at that, I'll see if anyone has any additional questions or comments. Additional questions or comments on the amendment?
I would just say that it's great. The new verbiage is even better than what was in there. I know Councilor Kovas had put something in. We've changed it a couple of times, and Attorney Amara came out with this one, and I think it's pretty clear and it's great. It was really well written.
Councilor Conti, you have questions or concerns on it?
No, I don't. I think that I agree with Councilor Reynolds. This is cleaner and clearer than what we had in the past.
Very good, thank you. Councilor Kovas, Vice President.
I was also going to agree with Councilor Reynolds that this achieves the goal and the intent of what it was writing, and when it's cleaner, better.
Terrific. Additional questions on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote on the amendment, beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Vice President Kobus.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Mr. Angelo.
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone.
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
President Delicio.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you,
one
motion
recused.
passes. We're now back to the motion as amended. Do we have additional questions, comments, or concerns? Councilor Conti.
So this motion is now for 17, 3-4, 17, 10-15, and 17, 11-2.
Yes, and with the additional language that we just voted on.
So in that regard, I wish to make an amendment to the motion.
Sure.
I wish to amend the motion that on 111E, marijuana retailer, under general business, the special permit be changed to in, not permitted.
Where are we looking, Councilor?
On the chart, under 111E, marijuana retailer,
21.
21, okay.
21, oh, 21E.
Retailer, so 21E.
that's 11E, and go across the table underneath business, you'll see central business, transit-oriented district, general business, planned highway business.
Yes.
Under general business, go down to marijuana retail, and it says that a special permit is required. And I want to change that to no permit. It's not allowed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilor Blair, thank you.
So, the reason why I want to do this is because I think that this council, even though we're at the end of the time for this motion, I don't think it's been properly vetted. If you look at the downtown area, which is central business, right now, we're not allowed to have marijuana retails in the central business. So let's all just convene downtown at the Five Corners, and let's go up North Main Street, and the central business zone stops at the public library and the Masonic Building. Then there's the Literacy Center on the left, and immediately following is a general business zone, which has a Dunkin' Donuts, a convenience store, and Bristol Glass. So if we were to allow a special permit, that landlord of that plaza could terminate the lease, or when a lease terminates there, we could have a marijuana retailer in that convenience store, or in the Dunkin' Donuts store, or in the Bristol Glass store, for which there is not sufficient parking. The city of Attleboro is a polka dot of general business zones throughout the city. Now, when Councilor Reynolds was discussing this, and she was talking about the general business and planned highway business, because I was asking questions, is it appropriate to have a marijuana retailer in a general business zone, rather maybe we should have them in a planned highway business zone because there's more room. And we did receive correspondence from Gary Erasian, the city planner, that said the intent of the planned highway business zone was for large, sprawling commercial entities, such as a big Y grocery store, and I understand that. But at the current zoning in the city of Attleboro, marijuana retailers are only allowed really in an industrial park or in a industrial business park, which is a big area that, allows them to sprawl out and have plenty of parking. If we allow marijuana retailers through special permit, in the general business area, we're going to wind up with marijuana retailers in neighborhoods that the neighborhoods are not going to be happy, and they're going to be allowed to be there by right with a special permit. I sat on the zoning board, and I know what it's like to go through a process of getting a special permit. And there's a lot of things the zoning board looks at to determine whether or not an applicant should get a special permit. But the zoning board has the most latitude of any government body to allow things where they should not be. And as a result of that, when you drive through the city, you look at a street and you'll see that there's houses along the street and someone's tucked a house behind the house on a common driveway. It's a very stupid thing to do, but it happens. And so in my business as an assessor, I've started this book, and the book is Zoning Gone Wrong. And it's pictures of properties around the city and around the city of Taunton where common sense did not prevail. I mean, just did not prevail. But when you get a persuasive attorney at a podium telling a very strong story of, the financial hardship that the applicant faces unless the zoning board grants a special permit, suddenly the hearts open up and special permits are granted when, if common sense prevailed, they wouldn't be granted. So, by changing this general business to no, we eliminate the possibility of marijuana retailers being located in small little strip malls throughout the city because of the way the general business zones are located inside the city of Attleboro. It's a very non-homogeneous zone, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Reynolds.
So I don't disagree with some of the things that Councilor Conti is saying, but in the long run, on Route 1 and 1A, those areas of general business, if general business is not approved, then you are basically saying that the marijuana businesses have to remain purely in industrial, because almost every large highway business type of building that is in with, like, say, Home Depot and that, has certain regulations within their leases that will not allow for marijuana because it's not approved federally yet, where the general business will allow it. So basically, we've gone through this over 6 months maybe now, and would turn down anything that is available on Route 1 and 1A, because that's general business. Almost all of it is general business that would be good sites because they can't go into planned highway. So, I mean, we're between a rock and a hard place, quite honestly, and we are competing with both Pawtucket, Cumberland, and what's happening in North Attleboro that has been allowed to go on general business, and they're on Route 1, North Attleboro.
Councilor Conti.
So Attleboro is not designed like North Attleboro. And I wish that we could allow marijuana retailers on Route 1 because they belong there. And I agree with you completely. That general business zone of Route 1 in South Attleboro is perfect for a marijuana retailer. Unfortunately, if you allow it in that general business zone, you have to allow it in all the little spots of general business throughout the rest of the city, which is neighborhoods. And that's just not right. So, in South Attleboro, in addition to the general business, you do have the planned highway business, which I do not know whether or not every planned highway business zone on Route 1 in South Attleboro is occupied. And that if it is occupied, the highest and best use, whereby marijuana retailer may generate more income than what is currently there, I could see something flipping from what it currently is to a marijuana retailer in a planned highway business zone. And I would encourage that, because we would get more income from the taxes and the fees for a marijuana retailer being in the business instead of an appliance store.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
Vice President Corbis, then Councilor DeSimone.
If I could, through the chair, are liquor or package stores allowed in general business? I believe they are, but can you confirm that?
Yes.
I think they are. I don't know. I do not know.
They are.
I'm pretty sure they are. And based on that, in my opinion, it should be treated very similarly. So therefore, I do not support the amendment and support having these in the general business. So it concludes my comments.
Thank you. Councilor DeSimone.
I'm sorry, President Dosio, I have nothing to say on the amendment. I have another matter.
Okay.
My apologies.
No worries. Councilor Holmes.
I'm just looking for clarification. So basically, I mean, to Councilor Reynolds' point, we've been working on this for about 6 months. This would basically say we're going to just revert back to what we currently have. This would basically be saying that we're not open to having marijuana retailers in general business. Is that accurate?
Would you repeat the question, please?
So I was saying that we've been working on this for 6 months to allow for them, marijuana retailers, to be in general business. You're saying that we would just revert back to what we had before, which is...
Oh, I'm saying that we could change and allow a special permit for planned highway business. The only change I'm making is that the general business would not be permitted. So it would still allow the marijuana retailers to establish a site on Route 1 in South Attleboro in a planned highway business zone, but would not allow them to establish a site on the general business zone, which is the majority of Route 1.
Councilor Reynolds.
So, I mean, we go back to it. Planned highway business is for large, over 3,000 square feet, and almost every marijuana distributor is not that large, number one. They're not going to give up that space to that. It was general business. That's what they're looking for. That's all that's really available in small portions, even in South Attleboro on Route 1. But I think the bottom line is that when we approve this, and we've seen, even in industrial, there are not problems, just traffic problems. They're so regulated, and they're taking so care of business. Even I'm amazed at how little. There's just been nothing. There's been no trouble. I don't think it's any different than alcohol, which easily is almost everywhere in the city. So as much as I understand what Councilor Conti is saying, I think that we would have just said, what is the point? What were we doing? Why wasn't this brought up really months ago before we went on and on and on with this? And I don't think we can change it. Or we've done nothing. We're just doing nothing. I don't think to open something downtown in general business would be a problem. I don't think it would cause an issue. And really, that's why we have a planning board. Up to them sooner or later to make those decisions based on where it is and the location of it, the size of it, the setbacks and all of that. So those are my comments.
Councilor Angelo?
Just very simple. I completely agree with Councilor Reynolds, 100%. We need it in South Attleboro to compete. We're going to lose revenue if we don't, and it's going to be a big convenience for the ones that are going to be using it down there. I completely agree with Councilor Reynolds. That's all I have to say.
Councilor Holmes.
I will not be supporting the amendment.
Thank you. Councilor Dolan.
I won't be supporting the amendment either. I agree with Councilor Reynolds and Vice President Kovas. And also, just to mention, Terps is in the neighborhood. You can throw a rock from Terps to people's apartments. I've never seen a traffic issue down there, and they're within earshot of people's homes. So I won't be supporting the amendment. Thank you.
Additional comments on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone.
No.
Mr. Angelo.
It's just a...
I'm sorry.
This is just the amendment.
Do you want to
A no
change?
means that we're going to keep it the same. A yes means that we wouldn't allow a special permit, and it wouldn't be allowed in general
So
business.
it's no. I'm no.
Thank you. Ms. Reynolds?
No.
Ms. Holmes?
No.
Vice President Kobus?
No.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
No.
Mr. Waterman?
No.
President Delicio?
No.
8 nays, 2 yeas.
Motion fails. We're now back to the motion as previously amended. Councilor DeSimone.
Thank you, President. So we're now discussing the full.
The full
Okay.
motion, correct.
I just want to say for the record, when I opened, I said that the amendments were voted out of committee as they were introduced, but I neglected to state for the record that in committee, we amended the hours of operation from 8 to 8 to, they can now operate from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. That was voted out of committee, so that was an addition.
Thank you for the
Just for the record.
clarification, for sure. Additional questions on the motion? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Waterman, and this is on the full motion.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Madam Clerk, I file a charter objection.
Thank you.
This ends all discussion on the matter. At this point, Councilor DeSimone and I will be recusing ourselves and giving up our seats for the next piece of business. We'll wait for Ms. Bennett to return, and I relinquish the chair to Vice President Bowles. Sorry, buddy.
A second. And I recognize Councilor Bennett.
Thank you so much. I'm going to start by reading the motion for this evening as it was voted out last week from committee. I entertain a motion from the docket of December 20th, 2022. I entertain a motion to approve the special election for mayor be held on February 7th, 2022.
Second.
Thank
Motion is
you.
in order. Councilor Bennett?
Thank you so much. I have several notes. If the council will indulge me, I'd like to start by taking us through some of the timeline and some of the additional details that have come out since this was voted out of committee last week. First, I'd like to start by saying thank you to all my fellow councilors who have done really a great deal of due diligence over the last couple of weeks and have reached out with very thoughtful questions and collected information and shared those with the council. And I do want to highlight as well, I'm sure you, like myself, have heard from a number of residents and have gotten emails and calls concerning the special election with residents who are interested and want to know more information about how the council votes. I just want to recognize that the level of engagement I'm seeing is really wonderful and thoughtful, and to say thank you for providing those responses where you've gotten calls from residents. First, I'd like to go through the legal requirements. First, starting with the charter, the city charter mandate for the municipal council to forthwith call a special election to fill a vacancy for the mayor for the remainder of an unexpired term when there's more than 9 months remaining. And this can be found in section 3-8A. The special meeting tonight is intended to provide the council with the opportunity to evaluate the options for the special election and to vote to set this date. Tonight's vote sets into motion a series of actions and preparations by the elections office. A recent email from Leslie Vega in the elections office provided us with an outlined timeline and details as to the types of actions and the types of preparation required for a special election. She provided detailed practical considerations for the council to think about, and that's approximately 8 to 9 weeks worth of activities and actions. My understanding is that the vote last week by the committee was taking into consideration those 8-week minimum that the elections office has requested for preparation. But one thing that did get missed is a state requirement, and that's something I'd like to read a little bit into tonight so that everyone watching at home understands kind of what the city is required to adhere to for compliance, and also for any city councilors who may have questions to be able to ask those questions.
In addition to the elections office requirements, there's a state requirement under Mass General Law, Chapter 53, Section 7, which requires the city to provide a period of 14 days between the deadline for submission of nomination papers to the registrars and filing with the city clerk. City Solicitor Cindy Amara has provided a legal opinion concurring with this requirement and has been in consultation with the Secretary of State's office. What this means is that assuming the council were to vote tonight to set a date for the special election, the elections office would then make nomination papers available as soon as this Friday or Monday, the 19th, the latest. So that's the first sort of thing that gets set into motion. Nomination papers based on this would be due either December 30th or January 3rd, respectively, based on whether they're made available this Friday or Monday. The city is then required to provide a period of 14 days between the date the nomination papers are due and the filing with the city clerk in accordance with Mass General Law. Assuming the latest date of January 3rd for the submission of nomination papers, of those two dates, assuming the latest, the earliest date that would both comply with state requirements and provide the elections office with a full 8 weeks of preparation time is Thursday, February 17th. An email this evening from City Solicitor Amara confirmed this as the earliest date, and the first Tuesday after this date would be February 21st. The current motion, as voted out by the council last week to set the date of February 7th, did not have included in this date calculation the 14-day state requirement. To comply with state laws, the date the council sets for the special election must factor in this requirement. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to amend the motion on the floor to change the date from February 7th to February 21st.
Second.
Motion's in order?
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yeah. Do you have any more comments on the motion before we open it up to everybody else?
I do not. On the motion to amend, I do not.
Okay.
Thank you.
I saw Councilor Conti first and then Councilor Holmes.
Thank you for the research. Can you tell me, could we, if we were to move the election to a Saturday instead of a Tuesday, so that we don't disrupt the schools, would it be best to be Saturday the 25th or Saturday the 18th?
Councilor Conti, so there is school, it's February vacation that week on the 21st, so there is no school that entire week. I did clarify with the elections office that there isn't a state requirement or state law for us to have our elections on Tuesdays. We could have the election on whatever day we wanted, but traditionally where we've had it on Tuesdays, that's why we've been looking at Tuesdays.
So you think that it's, let me ask the question, do you think it's in the better interest of the voters to have it on Tuesday because we have always voted on Tuesday, or to have it on Saturday when the whole day is clear?
I will hold my opinion.
Okay.
But it's a fair question. Anything else, Councilor Conti?
So if we were to go to Saturday, Councilor Bennett, it couldn't be the 18th because it has to go out to the 21st?
No, the earliest date possible would be Thursday, February 17th, according to the city solicitor.
Okay, so it could be, if we decided to do it on Saturday, it could be the 18th.
The way that I read her legal opinion, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Councilor Conti?
No.
Recognize Councilor Holmes and then Councilor Dolan.
Thank you. So this whole process has really, the timelines have really gone not in the direction that we were all hoping for. It really started with the administration because we were supposed to be getting the letter of resignation on the right before Thanksgiving.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm not sure that when the mayor submits his resignation is really relevant to the conversation here.
We can't bring it out of committee until we get the letter, so it is relevant. It is relevant to the discussion.
Councilor Holmes, thank you for the point of order. One thing I would like to avoid is pointing any blame or looking at that, but you may continue.
I'm talking about the timeline. We didn't get the letter until December 1st and couldn't act on it until December 6th. We acted on it when it was a regular committee meeting and called for, we called for a committee meeting to try to push this early. This body has done everything in its power to move this along as quickly as possible. We just got a letter from the city solicitor stating that the Secretary of State is saying we have to add 14 additional days. We got that notification 3 hours before this meeting. This body has done everything they can to push for the earliest possible election date. It is relevant. So we were told the 23rd, we had to wait till December 1st, which pushed back when we could have the discussion until December 6th. So we haven't done anything to halt or slow down this process. We've tried to move this along as quickly as possible. So it is relevant. And I would like to make a motion for the date to be February 28th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's in order. Do you want to?
I think that if school vacation week is not a great time for parents. People are not allowed to come to City Hall for the election, is my understanding. So there is an opportunity for mail-in votes, but City Hall is not going to be open for this process. So I think that February 28th would be the ideal time frame for the residents.
Motion's in order. I saw.
So, excuse me, I have one other thing, sorry. Also, it does not affect the schools at all. I already connected with the elections office, and that email should have been forwarded to everybody. So schools do not have to be closed down for a special election.
All right, I saw Councilor Blair, Councilor Reynolds, Dolan, Councilor Conti, Councilor Dolan, excuse me.
And I am in complete agreement with you. There's a lot of people that travel during school vacation. They're out of town. There's a million things on their mind. If we held it the 28th, it's only a week further, and I think we've done due diligence to get it to our general public, our constituents, as soon as possible, and make it as easy as possible for them to vote without making a complete mess of the whole thing. I agree with Diana. The 28th is fine with me.
Councilor Reynolds?
I wanted it the 21st because school was out and I thought people can vote by mail, they can come in early, whatever. So I'm comfortable with the 21st, but if the 28th is what people want, I'm comfortable with that too. The schools are going to remain open. They said they are, so as far as that goes, I'm not concerned.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds. And just for clarification, we will only be supporting mail-in voting. We will not allow voting
Early
at City Hall for this special election. Councilor Dolan and then Councilor Conti.
So I'd like to address two things. The Saturday, I had asked the elections office if we could do Saturdays, and we can do Saturdays, but there are events at other venues that we use besides the schools. So we would have to take into consideration if La Salette or any of the churches or any other venues that we use have an event. So that could be a problem. Secondly, I won't support the 28th. I think the 21st is doing our due diligence and doing it as soon as possible. There will be early mail-in voting. There will not be early in-person voting. So I don't see any reason to change it to the 28th from the 21st.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilor Bennett.
Looking at the debate between the 21st and the 28th, quite honestly, I think both really meets our mandate. The elections office said 8 to 9 weeks is a reasonable amount of time to prepare, and 8 weeks was really the minimum. And so when I look at this and I think about what our responsibility is to the city, I think that both dates are moving quickly. It's taking into consideration the practical concerns, but also meeting our state law requirements. And for that reason, I think either date would be reasonable. If somebody thinks that a week sooner is going to make a significant difference in terms of whether or not we have a mayor who's acting with full powers in place for one extra week, that's something to consider and something to weigh. But in my opinion, I don't know that that makes a huge difference. My biggest concern is that we're potentially impacting that February vacation week, which I know traditionally is a time for families to go out of town or travel or take some time away from the city. And so to the extent that we have early voting or mail-in voting, maybe that's minimized. But that's really my only consideration or concern about the 21st. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilor Conti, I apologize. I told you
Okay,
you'd be after
that's quite
Councilor
all right.
Thorne. Yeah.
I, at the last election, asked for a mail-in ballot. And during the campaign period, decided not to mail it in because I didn't know what was going to be in the headlines the next day. And I really wanted all the information before I voted. So I decided to vote in person at the last minute. And I think it's good that we have the mail-in ballots, but this is a very important election. This is our mayor. This is about as important as it gets. So I'm supporting the February 28th date to get it out of the school week because I was thinking Saturday the 18th would be good, but people are already on the way out on the 18th. So the 18th doesn't work, and I didn't think about the locations having activities when I was thinking this through. So I'm off the Saturday thing, but I like the 28th idea because I think that it gives us the most reasonable maximum amount of time for an intelligent voting decision, and that's what this is all about. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Councilor Waterman, and then Councilor Blair.
Well, this discussion is very helpful to me. I'm leaning towards the 28th. But there's another reason. I ran for state rep, as you might recall, in a winter campaign. And that is one tough way to run in that weather. And the more time that we can give our candidates to meet with the folks in the city, I say the better. So that's what I'm going to support.
Thank you. Councilor Blair, then Councilor Angelo.
I also support the 28th. I think it's the most logical, reasonable, I hate to say common sense thing to do. I know that's not too common, but the dinosaurs would appreciate some type of common sense approach. There's a few of us left in town, right? So I think the 28th is definitely the way to go. And it'll give the candidates a chance to do their thing. It's on a Tuesday, not changing to a Thursday or whatnot to further confuse the public, right? I think the 28th's fine. I will be supporting it.
Councilor Angelo.
Thank you, Vice President Gomez. Sorry, I'm looking at your sign over there. I completely agree with the sentiments that Councilor Carney has, and he had a lot of really good points there. I think we're very lucky to have the three candidates that we have, and that's not going to be an easy decision for anybody. And I do know on the last one where I did in-person voting, and I did it a little early, and then I'd regretted it because I had a couple changes of opinions on certain things.
Point of order. This is related to the date, not related to candidates or specific people.
So basically, 28th definitely works, and I think that gives enough time for people to be able to decide what they want to do.
Thank you. Councilor Holmes, and then Councilor Dolan.
On that note, that's what's so upsetting to me is that I feel like we have been so ethical in every step of the way, and everybody in this body has been so ethical. That's the frustration to me. Today is committee. Technically, we're supposed to be voting this out of committee today, and then next week, December 20th, voting it in front of the regular meeting. We pushed this early, and we have done, so Councilor Dolan, Vice President Kobus, and myself had to call for this special meeting. It took 3 councilors to call for this special meeting to try to get this out of committee and to vote it immediately. And that has...
Go ahead. Sorry. Excuse me.
And that concludes my comments.
Councilor Dolan.
So, is it me or is the 28th a Monday? I show February 28th to be a Monday.
You're looking at the wrong year.
Yep. I'm looking at it like,
The
what's going on?
21st and the 28th are Tuesdays.
Got it.
Okay. Are there any other comments on the amendment to change the date to February 28th? Hearing none, I think the vote starts with Councilor Blair.
That's correct.
This is on the amendment only?
Just the amendment.
Just the
correct.
amendment.
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President nope, I'm not going to get you yet. Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
No.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Vice President Kobus? Acting President.
Yes.
Thank you. 8 yeas, 1 nay.
Motion passes. All right, so we are back to the original motion, which now reads, I entertain a motion to approve the special election for mayor be held on February 28th, 2022.
23.
Excuse me, 23.
That is
Choose your day off, yeah. You're wrong.
Excuse me. Are there any comments on the motion as amended? Councilor Bennett.
I'd like to just reiterate that I think the council has been very thoughtful in their approach and has taken into a lot of considerations for many of us. And me in particular, this is a very new process. So for those who haven't been around very long, and even for those who have, I think this is rare. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody for your thoughtfulness and really your consideration for the city's best interests here.
It better be rare.
Are there any further comments? Hearing none, I believe we'll start with Councilor Waterman.
Yes. Councilor Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Vice President Kobus?
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thank you. That concludes the business. Move to adjourn at 7:42.
Second.
Motion's in order. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. We are adjourned at 7:42.
So I'd like to call the Finance Committee to order at 7:42. On this committee are Councilor Kobus, Councilor Reynolds, and myself. Everyone's invited to stay. We have 14 motions to run through. But first, I want to call for a executive session because the motions that I am not bringing out tonight have a specific sensitive issue that could impede the function of the city. So, Councilor Kobus, Councilor Reynolds, I would like to have a executive session that you are mandatorily required to attend, and of course, all other councilors are invited to attend as well. What is your preference? Would you prefer to do this on a Tuesday night, or do you want to do this on an off night? What is your preference?
My preference would be on a Tuesday night.
On a Tuesday night. So then, if we did this next week, I think I can call for an executive session next week during the regular council meeting for a committee executive session. Yes, I think so. Councilor Reynolds?
So what, the timing, I think, because that's the photo day, that's,
So maybe let's wait 2 weeks and during the committee meetings, have an executive session
fine.
after 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? Okay, then that's what we'll do. We will have an executive session for the Finance Committee after 7 p.m. in 2 weeks on the 27th?
Yes.
We don't meet on the 27th, do we?
Is that a fifth?
Tuesday?
Is that a fifth?
I don't think so.
Tuesday.
No, but I don't.
Holidays.
Is your calendar?
I don't have, well, yeah, it's not a fifth Tuesday on the calendar.
No, but I don't. It's Christmas week.
Good. All right, so let's plan on an executive session for the Finance Committee after 7 o'clock on Tuesday, December 27th. Thank you. We can get into the motions. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to accept a generous donation to the City of Attleboro regarding the receipt of a fiscal year 22 Massachusetts Downtown Initiative, MDI grant, from the Department of Housing and Community Development to produce a downtown Attleboro wayfinding signage plan.
Second.
Councilor Copes. So I had the opportunity to talk with Community Development Director Catherine Fierick, asking, what is this a consultant looking for a job for a jurisdiction? She said, no, this is actually a quite common thing. And thinking that maybe it was a little unnecessary, I was driving through town and noticing the signs a little bit more carefully and found that my downtown's a mess. And I would like to see a professional's opinion of what that is. And so this is a grant that allows us to get a professional's opinion of the signage, particularly in the downtown area. And I now think it's a good idea. That concludes my comments. Does anyone else have any comments? Councilor Blair.
Is this a contributory grant? Or
No, it is not a contributory grant.
No harm in taking money if we don't have to kick in.
I agree with you. Anything else? Yep, go ahead.
Maybe I missed it. Was there an amount that's tied to this or a value?
Yes, the amount is, let's see, it's it's $25,000.
Thank you.
And the company that's going to be doing the study is to be determined.
I used that company once, didn't I?
25 grand to look at our signs. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to authorize the school department to pay the previous year's school bills totaling $12,350.47 as identified below. The Fisher Bus in the amount of $525, the Grogan Marciano Sports in the amount of $9,989, Smart Sign in the amount of $1,499.57, and Tova Stevenson, $336.90.
Second.
You're not on my committee.
Second.
That's right.
Thank you, Councilor
I forgot
Cobus.
you were back in committee.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. So there was a detail in our package. It's labeled number 7, and you can see that Mr. Furtado has done an excellent job, not only giving us the invoices, but all the emails that explain what that's about. Does anyone have any questions about that? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to authorize the school department to pay these previous year school bills totaling $4,149.33 as identified as follows. Boston College, $1,750. Boston College, $1,500. Gopher, $603.03. A second invoice from Gopher, $290.90. And WB Mason for $5.40.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. I think we're coming to the end of these invoices that are delayed because it's now December and we're about 6 months past, so hopefully this will be the end of them. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve expending such funds and any future grant commitments regarding the receipt of a Mass Development Brownfields Redevelopment Fund grant in the amount of $249,540 to perform an environmental remediation at the site of the former American Metalcraft building located at 53 Falmouth Street.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. This has been discussed for as long as I have been on the council. This building, which is not completely torn down, but I remember the conversation about tearing down the building. You do too. And they left a piece of it there because the ground was so dirty they don't want to disturb the dirt. And then we went through the Attleboro Redevelopment Authority trying to get grants to clean it up. They were not able to do that. Now we are in a position where Mass Development is saying, okay, we can see the need for downtown housing, so we can specifically see if we clean this up, make it a slab, put a building above it, people will be safe, and we'll be able to have more housing downtown, which is what everybody wants. So does anyone have any questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $452,186.74, a net school spending surplus from account 1-000-359000, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to account 102311102-5305000, special education consultant contracted services.
Second, but can you, the account numbers that you read are different than what I have on my sheet.
So let's go with the first one. The first one is account number 1-000-359000. Is that what you have?
That is what I have.
Okay.
And what was the amount total?
The amount is $452,186.74.
That's what I have.
Okay.
The second,
And the second account number is 023
think it's O.
01102.
okay.
It's O2. It's an O.
Oh, that's an O.
Yep.
My apologies. Oh, 23011. We're okay?
We're good.
Okay, good. In looking into where this $500,000 is going, the surprise to me was the inability of the school to generate sufficient paraprofessionals to handle the special needs students, and that they're now going outside to contracted services because they don't have the personnel in-house for the paraprofessionals. So there's an evolving change going on in the school system where the salaries are not being paid to paralegals, winding up as a surplus, going into net school spending, and going out to pay a consultant. An interesting development. I also thought it was wise of the school to say, rather than returning the surplus, the net school spending surplus into the general account for the school, to shift it into this special education consultant fund so that would be funded, guaranteed for the coming year, which I thought was very good planning, good financial planning. Mm-hmm. That concludes what I've discovered about this. Anyone have any concerns or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to expend of such funds any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of a Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, acronym is BRIC, grant, in the amount of $187,125 from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is also known as FEMA. The grant will fund the downtown flood mitigation and resiliency planning assessment project.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Kovas. So, this is a FEMA-inspired initiative where FEMA looks at who they've had to pay in the past for as a result of flooding, and whether or not if some investment in capital and design were applied, maybe they would have to pay less in the future. So it is I forget what insurance companies call it, but there's a term for this. And what the city is going to do is that this is actually going to get assigned over to the conservation agent, Nick Wiley. He's going to work with FEMA and the consultants to figure out what needs to be done. But you probably do recall the last great flood of the city of Attleboro when sailboats and canoes were in the Willett School parking lot and field, and Nancy Young's jewelry store was 6 feet underwater, and hot dogs were floating into the 3 Mile River.
I don't remember that, but I know we had a lot of water.
Maybe there was an exaggeration.
Yeah, it
might have been a little
But it was a good story.
I beginning to believe it.
So this is intended to mitigate flooding hazards downtown. Any comments or questions? Yes.
I assume this is tied to the weather or the flood mitigation stuff that Gary Arasian put together in that plan. And remember, we had those meetings.
Yes.
A year
But
or
it's
so
not
ago.
related to that.
Okay,
This-
that was my question.
Right. That environmental change, the climate change initiative is not directly related to this, but it's along the same line. It's along the same thinking, yes.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well, I have the reason I was holding it is because of the next one. I think we should have read that first, that that goes along with it. Is this correct? Like, if we didn't say yes to that, you can't get the
Yeah,
187.
you said yes to this, you're going to
You got to say yes to the other. I just.
So the next one is from the docket of December 20th, 2022. I entertain a motion to appropriate $62,375 from account 1000-35900, undesignated fund balance free cash, general government fund 2345, building resiliency in COMM, also known as BRIC, and the 25% cash match for the city.
Second.
Thank you. I guess I should have brought that up in the beginning. However, the mayor sends these down in this order for a reason.
I read backwards. Up.
Right. And when you have 14 motions, they tend to coagulate.
Okay.
But do you have any comments or questions about the 25% match? It's only
really.
$62,375.
Well, we need it done, so it's a worthy investment.
So the motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Now, if you skip with me to the next page, from the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the use of $60,000 in Fund 3433 Willett Facade be changed to Fund 3433 Willett Roof Project, as it was discussed that the roof project would likely incorporate facade work, as damage in this area is in part due to the existing roof condition.
Second.
So, we knew that the Willett front facade was being stained, and we thought it was a roof leaking problem. It turns out that it's a roof problem. It's not a facade problem, but the facade needs to be replaced. But it's the roof that's the problem. So the roof is the same roof that's over on Brennan. Those no, it was done at the same time as Brennan and Wamsutta by the same contractor and the same clerk of the works. Yeah, no surprise there, right? So we now have a roof project at Willett. It's actually a roof and facade project instead of just a facade project at Willett. But it needs to be done. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Are we going after them for anything? The clerk of the works?
Oh, it's way too late.
Way too late. 'Cause how long ago was that
too
done?
late.
10 years?
I was young and skinny.
More than
I had
10
black
years.
hair.
More than 10 years.
It was a long time ago.
Okay.
So motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the expenditure of such funds and any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of $4,778,808.50 through the American Rescue Plan Act, also known as ARPA.
Second.
I believe that this is the biggest dollar amount motion in my history on the council. $4,778,808.50. And I read today that in the month of November, the United States government had a deficit of $249 billion.
It's not
Thank you,
sustainable.
Uncle Sam.
That's all I'm saying. It's not sustainable.
So, any questions, comments? Seeing none, motion's in order. I'll call for...
I do. I have a question.
Yes.
So we're approving the expenditure of these. Where is that money going? Do we know?
Well, it can't go anywhere unless we prove that they can expend it. And then when they do decide to expend it, they have to ask us to change it from the account of ARPA to the account where it's going to be expended.
Okay.
So you get to look at it twice.
Okay.
Anything else? Any comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of November 3rd, 2020, I entertain a motion to strike the following. New business request to have a citywide vehicle purchasing program.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Kobus. So, this measure was brought in by Councilors DeSimone and Councilor Delicio. two people who are running for mayor. They've got a 33% shot of one of them getting to be elected. If they get elected, they can install their own citywide vehicle purchasing program.
Done.
And we don't need to have it done at the city council level where it's none of our business. Are there any other comments or questions or conclusions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of November 3rd, 2020, I entertain a motion to strike the following: to conduct a review of the city's fiscal policy and cash reserve policy.
Second.
Thank you. We addressed this really well in our last budget message, and we pushed the envelope just about to the limit of our authority in doing so. It's funny, we have the right to sign the checks that are going out the door, but we don't have the right to determine the fiscal policy of the city. It's outside of the scope of the municipal council. So the reason why I'm striking this is because we found a measure of great success with the budget message. I believe that we can continue that tact going forward with whatever future mayor may be, because the budget message, thank you, of this year was so well done. I think we have a roadmap, and I think that this motion of conducting a review is not necessary, and so I'm in favor of striking it. Any comments? Yes.
I agree with your comments there, and I do appreciate that we've seen progress with Jeremy Stull, the budget director, talking about developing those policies. So I appreciate what we were trying to do with this, but I do agree with you, and I was a little bit hesitant whether or not we should strike this, but I do agree with you. I think it is okay for us to strike this down.
So one of the things that I'd like to see happen in the city of Attleboro in the future is to establish a finance committee, because when I was working with the city finance members to get that budget message enacted, and it took a couple of meetings. I didn't meet just with our director of the budget. I met with the city auditor, and I met with the city treasurer. And the three of them were very receptive and very cooperative and very enthused that the council was actually looking at these things, but they knew so much more than we know in that regard, because all day long they're doing that. So going forward in the future, it would be wonderful if that team coagulated into a regular meeting and a regular communication where the city auditor, the city treasurer, the budget director, the mayor, maybe perhaps the president of the council, maybe perhaps the finance chairperson of the council, and the purchasing director. I mean, that group can be expandable or contractible depending on what the issues are in front of the city. And I think that was kind of behind what this review of the city's policy was. So we can't do that here on the council. We can't establish a finance committee. But we can hint really strongly that it would be a good thing to have, you see? So, and because of that, I thought it was time to let this go.
Agreed.
Okay. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of January 7, 2020, I entertain a motion to strike the following: amend the agreement between the city and schools that all Medicaid reimbursements go to school.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Kobus. We do this every year. It's routine and ordinary, and I don't think that we need to enter it into a formal arrangement, especially if something tragic happens, if there's an emergency. And I'd like to keep it the way it is so that each year we have the option of authorizing or not. Okay. And that concludes my comments. Do you have any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And finally, nope, not finally. From the docket of November 13, 2018, I entertain a motion to strike the following: to collaborate with state officials about community PAC program for capital improvements.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Kovas. This was brought in by yours truly. And it really wasn't about the community PAC program as much as it was the technical assistance program. I felt that if the administration heard from the state the importance of a capital improvement budget that was fixed and was funded every year, that the capital improvement program would benefit from that. And that was in 2018. That's 4 years ago. And since then, we have managed to get the capital improvement into the budget, $500,000. It got pulled out, but it got put back in. And so I'm hoping that we can sustain that $500,000 and that this involving the community PAC program is not appropriate, that we need to work this out ourselves. And that concludes my comments. Do you have any questions or comments or conclusions? Seeing none, the motion's in order. I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. And finally, from the docket of January 7, 2020, I entertain a motion to strike the following. Amend the agreement between city and schools that all medical reimbursements go to schools. That sounds just like the one that we struck two motions ago. So with that concludes the business that I have to bring before you this evening. We will establish the procedure for the executive session, and I will have an agenda for that executive session. I will act as the secretary in that executive session and take notes so that we don't have to further tax our administrative assistant, and I will have a guest or two or three at that executive session for discussion. And every executive session I've been in has been a minimum of an hour, so plan accordingly. And seeing that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I declare the Finance Committee adjourned at 8:05. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you, everyone.